case presentation, our judges are Zachary Minute, CGA, Manager Procurement and Communications at CGA, Brian Jackson, Vice President of AMCO Corporations, Mark Whitley, Vice President of Support Services and General Counsel at AMCO Corporation, and Victor Lam, Vice President of Special Risks at Intact Insurance. Presentations will be a total of 20 minutes, followed by a 5-minute long question and answer period led by the judges. All teams are reminded that they must present for a minimum of 18 minutes in order to avoid a time penalty to the score. Any presentation under 15 minutes will receive a further time penalty. You'll be warned with signs at the 15, 18, 19, and 19-minute and 30-second marks. The final 30 seconds will be silently counted down. The presentation will be stopped at the 20-minute mark. Finally, I will ask all members of the audience to turn off their cell phones, refrain from using flash photography or video cameras, and hold off any applause until after the question and answer period has concluded. Due to the nature of the competition, there will be no questions or comments from the audience. You may begin when you're ready.
Thank you very much for your time today. My name is Don. These are my colleagues Patrick and Peter, and we are Sage Creek Consulting. So a quick agenda of today's presentation is up on the board. I will be going through a problem identification segment, as well as identifying key secondary issues of very big importance. At which point Patrick will be coming up and going through a comprehensive macro and micro analysis of your company situation, as well as key decision criteria that we feel should influence all of our recommendations. Peter will be then going through an analysis of each of our alternatives, detailing why we feel that they're significant and choosing our recommendation, at which point I will be returning and going through a 3-phase implementation plan of why we feel we can definitely deliver today. So why are we here? Now, in our past meetings with you, we've really kind of honed down that AMCO needs an innovative strategic focus to make a lasting impact on a dynamically changing construction industry. Now, you've mentioned that your focuses for today's presentation should be not just looking at a simple e-commerce website and not just looking at simple acquisitions, but really drilling down to what AMCO's core competency is and how we can exploit that to put your company in the best strategic position possible. And we are very confident that we can deliver on that today. So some key issues that we've identified and ranked in order of importance are some of the trends that we've observed in the industry, such as your consumers and how they've changed over the years. They're not simply people that come into your storefronts not knowing what they need to complete their projects. They're educated individuals that have so many resources available to them that they might actually be more educated about what they need than the salespeople at your profit centers. And so an opportunity exists here to really take advantage of employing these clients, employing these customers with additional tools. Next, we have the strength of the Canadian dollar. You've mentioned that with the heightened strength of our currency, that some of your business in the United States is faltering because it is more expensive to deal with your company. And we wanted to make sure that we address that. Next, ever important in any business, profit margins. You've noticed that with the emergence of foreign products that those have started to shrink, but we feel that our implementation and our recommendation today can deal with this issue. And lastly, competition for both an online and retail source from the US is also something that we wanted to make sure that you understood, that we factored it into our analysis. And I'd now like to introduce Patrick to go over our comprehensive analysis.
Thank you, Don. So we're able to go over a comprehensive industry analysis in order to assess exactly your company's needs and be able to implement our alternative the most effectively possible. So looking first of all at the opportunities. You mentioned to us that e-commerce is something that you're looking to get into. However, right now, in your current industry, not one player has significantly grabbed and taken advantage of that, which is why we feel that you can be a first mover on this issue. Secondly, labor savings for your customers. Once again, labor savings represents dollar savings for the contractors, which are one of your significant customers. And we believe that not only providing on-time shipments, but shipment that they can come into your store, pick up a quality item, and have it with them that day is something that can save them time and money. Also, providing products that will be easy to install and quality products that they won't have to keep coming back to your store in order to replace that product will lead to cost savings. Lastly, that green energy savings. There's a movement towards the green, sustainable buildings and providing those products that will allow for cost savings, whether through boiler systems, different plumbing, heat savings, all that combines into a quality product that you can provide your customers. Now, the threats. As you mentioned, there's an 8% drop within the next coming year in startups for homes, meaning that across the industry, there'll be about an 8% drop in business in that sector. However, we believe that providing a customer satisfaction environment with quality products will mitigate that risk, and that customers will come to you, you'll be their first choice when looking to purchase these products. Now, government funding decrease. With the Economic Action Plan wrapping up, there'll be a decrease in the commercial building sector, which again, as you said, represents a large part or a significant part of your business and an important part. And we believe that if you're able to capitalize on this, again, providing that you're the first or second supplier to your customers in that area, will be able to mitigate this risk, as they will come to you over anyone else and realize that your quality product is what they need and what they want. And lastly, that foreign product influx. As you had mentioned, there are a 15 to 20% overlap of products coming in from overseas or from imported products that do compete directly with your product line. And we believe mitigating that risk through customer satisfaction and quality products, again, can mitigate this risk in avoiding the price cuts that these competitors tend to offer. Now, moving on to the internal analysis, a certain strength that your company currently have is that it's flexible, very dynamic company that's very flat, able to move quickly and react to different trends in the industry, such as the e-commerce trend. And we believe that implementing this with this strength, being able to move and act quickly on it, will be the key to our implementation plan. Secondly, that product variety. Being a one-stop shop for your customer is essential, as again, time savings leads to dollar savings for your customers, and they want to be able to come to your store, have everything they want under one roof, and be delivered on time, and with, again, the cost savings with this quality product. That strong PCM program, being able to train your managers and have them in an entrepreneurship spirit in their sectors, being able to react to that segment's needs, to that area's specific needs, being able to source their products is a key advantage that you have. Now, weaknesses. Currently, there's less control over those profit centers, just due to the fact, again, to the power that one person has. Again, we feel that through shoring up your training program is, again, one of these ways to mitigate this risk, to ensure that everyone has one goal, however, is able to react accordingly within their sector. Secondly, slow to react to the online trend. We believe that in our implementation plan, being able to incorporate this quickly and efficiently will mitigate this risk, as you will be that first player within your industry. And lastly, high inventory costs. Just due to the nature of your business, you will incur high inventory costs due to the fact that you'll need to have that product within your warehouse on time so that your customer can come in and access that product in a timely manner. Now, through our last meeting, we really understand what ENCO wants, what ENCO is, and we know that through a strong, established core values and value-added services, ENCO is able to position itself as a first supplier, distributor to its served markets. With this strategic customer advantage and partnership through the provided service that you're able to provide your customer, you're again that first distributor of choice, which cannot be emphasized enough how big of an opportunity and a strength this is for your company. Now, through that, we've come up with a list of 4 decision criteria that we have evaluated against our alternatives. Now, this will be key in looking at the importance of our alternatives in exactly what alternative is selected for you at this moment. Firstly, being able to rank first or second in all markets. This dates back to your mission statement of being able to not only satisfy your customers, satisfy your employees, your owners, the communities that you operate in, and also everyone involved within every step of the way. Now, being able to be 1 or 2 in that market will allow you, again, if ever there's an economic downfall or a cut in certain sectors, you will be the first customer of choice, and people will come to you knowing that they can trust your brand, trust your quality, trust your services that you provide for them. Secondly, again, that brand quality. This all factors into being able to have that market share in those certain markets that you deem are the most important for your company. Being able to have that vision statement and the mission statement built in to your products, and every customer knows exactly what they get when they come into your store. Thirdly, increase the touch point with customers. Again, whenever you can have as many customers as you want, or as many customers as you can get, accessing your products and your database of products through different means, through different mediums, anywhere they are, as long as they can get a hand on your product, they will, because they know that your product is the best product that they can get. And lastly, the labor savings for contractors. Again, as I mentioned, labor savings is a key issue for contractors, as they can save time, if they can save different times on different jobs because of your product, because of your on-time shipping and availability of products. They will save this time and be able to take on more jobs, and it will be beneficial for their bottom line, which is why they will keep doing business with you. And now, I'd like to invite Peter, who will go over the alternatives.
Thank you, Pat. Now, before I go into the alternatives, I'd just like to talk a bit about the thought process that went into the 3 alternatives that we came up with for you today. Now, in our last meeting, we noticed a trend in our discussions. Now, we didn't talk too much about the income or the balance sheet or any of that. We talked more about the high-level strategic stuff. And we took that as a sign from you that you wanted us to see more than just the numbers on this. We saw this as a sign that we were going to focus more on the high-level strategic aspects of the alternative. So our first alternative, the blind shipping. You talked about that company in the US that wants to partner with you, sell your products to anyone that can access their website. Now, the pros there are the incremental revenues, and it pushes the competitors out of the contention for that website. However, we believe that the cons in this is that there's no value added to MCO's brand. Again, this is a website that's selling your products without giving you any recognition whatsoever, as well as it's strengthening the company's brand as well. If this company in the US decides to start selling to the Canadian market, suddenly we have a company that's selling MCO's products in direct competition with MCO, as well as it's not a fit with MCO's core competency. Again, as we said, MCO's core competency is customer service and high quality products. Customer service is not really something you can offer when the customer doesn't even know they're dealing with you. Now, second alternative is a fully integrated e-commerce platform. Now, the great thing about this is it's more channels for customer interaction. Now, after our meeting, I went to the MCO website. I looked a bit around on the MCO online platform, and I saw that the current platform is somewhat restricted in that customers are, as someone that's never been on before, it seemed like a lengthy process to be able to access this website, to have to go in, get an access code, and then come back, create a login, and get onto the website. And so we believe that under this alternative, we do a more fully integrated, more open online platform that allows for more people, anyone from contractors to those people that want to do do-it-yourself projects, can order products online from MCO. The pros for this is, again, more channels for customer interaction. It's additional resources for the PCs, as we believe that having an integrated online system means that the different PCs could move inventory more freely between each other. If someone wants to go to a store in, let's say, North Winnipeg, and there's nothing there, and so they can go source something from Regina and have it there within the next few days. Now, the cons of this is that it's an untested method within the industry. Now, again, as you see there, being the first mover in Canada under pros and having this being an untested method within the industry kind of reflects that proactivity that you reflected in our meeting last week, in that you want to be on top of the industry, in front of everyone else. And so we believe that having this new online platform puts you ahead of the rest of the industry. However, again, with something untested, there's high initial setup time and cost, but we believe that these costs will be made up for in that the comprehensiveness of this website. And it opens up the product catalog to competitors. Now, something that we've heard, that we noticed in our analysis of the industry, is not many companies are willing to just show what they have available for anyone to see. And it's a trend that we noticed in the industry, but we also realize that if another company wants to see what MCO offers, they're going to find a way to get into MCO's product listing. And so instead of trying to act like MCO has something to hide, just have everything there for anyone to see, and there's nothing to hide. In fact, MCO has high quality products that anyone can access, and MCO invites anyone to purchase from them. Our third alternative is the cost leader strategy. Now, this one focuses on seeking sources from other countries such as China with the lower production costs that would lead to higher margins for MCO, and as well as strategic acquisitions within North America in order to really increase the amount of storefronts that customers can come to and buy MCO products. Now, on this one, there are high margins on sales. It opens up MCO's global supply chain, and it really embodies that methodology, is that if these international products are going to come in and they're going to take away from the sales of Canadian products, instead of getting crushed by this trend, instead get ahead of it. If you can't beat them, lead them. Now, the cons with this one is finding suppliers with the same quality standards that MCO currently offers. Now, especially because construction is an industry where if something goes wrong, it can have detrimental effects to society. it's something that's really important to take into consideration, as well as going for a cost leadership strategy when you're already a high-quality, customer service-based company is something that goes completely against your company values and really is a huge con in this strategy. And so we've taken our 3 alternatives and evaluated them against our decision criteria and come up with the following matrix. Now, our first criteria ranks first or second in all markets served. Now, our market research has identified that MCO is currently sitting in the first or second position in a majority of the segments that MCO operates in. And so we believe that the blind shipping is something incremental that MCO can do on top of what it already does, and we don't believe it'll really affect its positioning that way. Integrated e-commerce, we believe, also fulfills this criteria, however, more so than the first one in that instead of just sitting at first or second, this is taking a lot more initiative to get even farther ahead than some of the other companies operating in that industry. However, the third strategy there, cost leadership, we believe it will hurt you because MCO would really confuse its brand and really just mess the perception that the contractors have up. And so our second alternative there, brand quality, we don't think blind shipping helps that at all. Again, customers don't even know they're dealing with MCO. That does not help MCO's brand quality whatsoever. And we believe that integrated e-commerce, however, fulfills this in that MCO being the leader in the industry, supply distribution, it'll really enhance the MCO brand. And cost leadership, again, does nothing for you in this criteria. Our third criteria, increased touch points. Blind shipping goes without saying. You're not increasing anything there. Integrated e-commerce, however, opening up your website to really anyone that would like to purchase MCO products really broadens your customer base. And cost leadership, as I said, under that strategy, you would be looking to acquire other companies and increase storefronts. So you would have increased touch points. But the fourth criteria is really where was the deciding factor there. Cost leadership does not provide labor savings to your contractors because if you have lower quality products, suddenly they have to do more work because the products that they're buying are failing on them. As well as blind shipping, it's just selling to contractors in the U.S. really doesn't save anyone time. It just gives customers in the U.S. MCO products. However, the integrated e-commerce strategy, we believe, will save time for customers because imagine a contractor at a site realizing that he's missing something. He can just pull out his phone, make an order on MCO's website, and really from there save the time it would take to make all this, go down to the MCO store, talk to the representative there, try and talk to them for a while, really instead of just pulling out their phone and making an order on there. And so we believe that this is the best alternative for MCO to pursue, being the integrated e-commerce. And to take you a bit through how we plan to implement that, I'd like to invite my colleague Donna.
Thank you very much, Peter. Now, we've come up with an implementation phase spanning 3 different sections. Implementation action items within a year, those that we recommend within 1 to 2 years, and then looking forward into the future, 2 to 5 years. So first things that we'd like to recommend is that MCO communicate this change to the organization. It's very important to get organizations to buy in to changes, especially if done by the head office, and especially with such a flat organization. Next, we would have you hire the developmental team for this e-commerce website in addition to the already MCO online that you have, as well as the applicable hardware to host and provide the service. And we've assessed a cost of $650,000 to that. We would also have you design training modules for your profit center managers, as it's already important and addressed that you want to stress empowering these individuals with all the skills necessary, and so we feel this naturally works with your already dominant model. And next, always supporting what you do, again, something of a trend that we've seen within your company, so having a support center there to answer any of the clients' questions and to help them navigate through this e-commerce website is crucial. We would want to look at developing and understanding and solidifying third-party shipping relationships so that you can have that integrated nature where your profit centers in each region can communicate and transfer inventory between them as your demand is needed. And of course, testing this product internally is important to make sure that the launch to the customers is successful. We feel, going back to our beginning of our presentation when we identified secondary issues, threats, and opportunities, that we've dealt with the opportunity of e-commerce, we've tried to capitalize on it, we're dealing with the educated consumer and the threat of competition by giving another value-added service to your business model. In the short term, we would launch the initial version, not all the features, to make sure that it is a smooth launch to your customers and to make sure that they can have time to get acquainted. We would develop that regional integration, whether it by communicating with your profit centers, managers to understand their needs and how you would need to facilitate their requirements for this is also important. We would look at developing demonstration videos as well on your e-commerce to make sure that clients can look at how the products fit in to their overall needs in a visual way, not just text-based. And looking at developing an app to increase the range and penetration that these individuals can access this e-commerce website. And again, the costs are assessed. We would expand the service center as needed and developing a feedback system. We feel that we've dealt with the labor savings opportunities, educated consumer, and the retraction in the industry in both residential and commercial sectors. In the long term, we'd review and monitor the project. We do deal with the action items necessary to ensure the long-term success of our product. We'd look at introducing green and efficient products into your lineup to help communicate to contractors what is available. And we feel that we've dealt with these action items again, the green markets and the labor savings. So lastly, to look at some risks and mitigations for you today, we've addressed the issues of US competition. We feel that you're in a strong strategic position. We've looked at setbacks and cost and adoption rates, and we feel that you're in a great position to do this. We thank you very much for your time, and we hope that you have any questions for us today. Thank you very much.
Can you elaborate a little bit on how your service center would work?
Well, similar to how an individual could, let's say, go on Best Buy, and if they had a question about the compatibility of electronic device, there's actually a tab for them to be connected via an MSN Messenger feature to a service individual who is there monitoring requests. If we feel that your industry better handles requests over the phone or an actual communication, there's also abilities for you to be connected to the appropriate service department from the website instead of having to go, let's say, to MCO's main website and go to the Contact Us and be routed through a series of departments that aren't applicable. So it'd be much more closely connected between what the consumer needs and the expertise that you have both on the profit center side as well as head office.
Other than hiring an outside firm to develop an e-commerce site, what about going out and buying an existing e-commerce company and just rolling it into Blend?
Well, I feel like once we establish that you do want to go the e-commerce way, there's always that option, and to evaluate those alternatives, we felt that as of right now, there isn't really anyone within your industry that has this comprehensive program to evaluate and exactly put out what your customers want within that e-commerce platform. So we were looking more at you being the first mover. So it's it's new out there as far as exactly this comprehensive of an e-commerce platform for your industry itself. So if we feel that it is a better route, or there is a similar industry within somewhere else that has already that comprehensive e-platform, that can always be brought out or brought in to it. But as of right now, we don't see anything out there that exactly meets your needs, which is why we implemented it this way.
Quantified the cost, what do you think the sales lift would be post-implementation second year?
Now, with the estimation of the current sales of what MCO is selling, I really can't say a specific number, but we believe that going online could essentially raise sales by, conservatively, I'd say between 15 and 20% within the first year, just because you still have to get the website's name out there, promote it, make sure the customers know that it's actually out there and that they can buy their products online.
How do you plan on doing that in terms of marketing that first year? You know, I mean, that's going to be so crucial as to, you know, again, I'm a customer. How do I know about this new e-commerce site that MCO is offering? How do I know to go on there? How do I make it easy enough that I know that to use that and not go anywhere else?
Well, one of the things that we identified as a strength of your company is that you already have that kind of knowledge transfer between your clients. A lot of your customers come in asking for your expertise about subjects. And so right there you have an opportunity and a channel to communicate additional resources that you have in development for them in the coming years. You also basically have a very invested platform in the sense that people come to you to solve their problems. And the more times that you can basically help someone in a time of need, that word of mouth power is just so strong in that case that I feel that you'd definitely be able to get the penetration you needed within your industries to have that adoption rate of the e-commerce website to definitely offset any costs of implementing.
One of the advantages, I think you said, of the e-commerce solution would be if one profit center didn't have a product, it could be easily shipped from another profit center. Have you considered the additional freight costs that would go with that and potentially eroding all of your margins with shipping product across the country?
We did take that into consideration, but as Peter mentioned, the increase in sales due to this e-commerce platform could easily offset some of these additional transportation costs, just due to the fact that you again strengthen your brand quality and the customer satisfaction. As you mentioned yourself, your vision and mission statement is throughout the board to make sure that you are the #1 player with customer satisfaction and brand quality. So this again strengthens that brand, brings in more customers, and you're just providing additional service. And if need be, after a while, to look into this transportation cost, there is that partnership with a third-party provider, having them as your sole provider. There's a cost saving in that transportation means, but again, we believe that the increase in sales can definitely offset this, just due to the fact that customers will come to you for that total customer satisfaction experience.
How do your recommendations address the stagnant U.S. economy and the U.S. companies creeping into Canada?
Now, one of the things that you had identified yourself in our last meeting is that a lot of these U.S. firms are having a lot of trouble reaching the Canadian consumers because they're just not aware of the needs of the Canadian consumers. And so with MCO being focused on high quality service, we believe that the risk of U.S. Companies coming up to Canada and trying to edge in on MCO's territory is mitigated because MCO provides a service that Canadians actually want versus the U.S.
This concludes our question and answer period.